Welcome students to Anusri Online Teaching. My name is Rupali Gaikwad and today I am going to teach 6th ICSE history, that is the chapter Vedic civilization. Now last time what we have learned? We have learned about the Vedic civilization, and in the Vedic civilization we have seen that Aryans they came, they settled, and after settlement was called as the early Vedic period, and later on they started developing themselves, that was called as a later Vedic period. We have seen about the political and also about the religion, the difference between the early Vedic period and the later Vedic period. Now what we will do, we will learn more about the Vedic civilization. We will just go through the slide and learn more about it. Now here we are going to see about the position of women. What was the position of women in the early Vedic period and the later Vedic period? Position of women, early Vedic age, that is early Vedic period. Women were treated equal with men. They took part in all social and religious functions and gatherings. They could offer sacrifices with husbands. They were given education. They had freedom to choose their husbands. Monogamy was usually practiced. However, polygamy was also seen. Widows were allowed to remarry. Child marriage, sati, parda didn't exist. Women scholars existed who composed hymns and knew all sacred scriptures. Now, if you see in early Vedic period, the position of women was given at a high level. They were given the equally importance in the society. They were able to take part in the rituals, in the religious functions, in the social functions. There was no botheration for them that you should not take part, or no limitation for them. They can easily take part in each and every functions and each and every religious things or any spiritual thing. They can take part in any functions. That was a main thing in the early Vedic period about the women. One more thing, in case if the woman is a widow, she can do a remarriage, was allowed over here. Child marriage, sati, those customs were not followed in the early Vedic period. So here men and women were equally treated. There was no discrimination between the women and the men. That was the main thing in the early Vedic period. Now we will see what exactly was the difference in the later Vedic period. Later Vedic period, status of women reduced. They took part in all social and religious functions and gatherings. Few women received education of high order. Widows weren't allowed to remarry. Polygamy was more common, especially in higher sections of the society. The discourses of the women are preserved in Upanishads. Now here, in later Vedic period, slowly the position of women was reduced. Here in early Vedic period, the position of women was at a high level, but here it got reduced. Here they were allowed to take part in the social functions, on the religious functions, but they were not able to do any sacrifices. Personally, they were not allowed to take part in any sacrifices or any religious functions, but only as a part they can come and they can just sit and they can watch. In that way they can do it. So here the position of women was little bit reduced in later Vedic period. Now here in early Vedic period, women were treated equally. So in case if they want to sing any hymns or any songs, they were able to sing, or they can just create their songs also, their poems also. But here in later Vedic period, only selected few people were allowed to do it. Not everyone. Only selected few people were allowed to do it. So that was the main thing over here. Now regarding the marriages, here in case in the early Vedic period, the widow can do a remarriage. But in later Vedic period, that was not allowed. In later Vedic period, the child marriages were allowed, but widow again remarriage was not allowed. Here polygamy means multiple marriages was allowed. Here monogamy in early Vedic period was the main thing, but later on polygamy, that is a multiple marriages also started. But in later Vedic period, polygamy was taken up. We'll see further now. Now here we are going to see about the 4 class divisions of Vedic society. So we have 4 main parts of the Vedic society. First is the Brahmins, which is also called as a priest, Kshatriyas, warriors, Vaishyas, businessmen, herders, farmers, merchants, craftsmen. Next is Shudras, serf upper class, farm workers, servants and laborers. So if you see in the picture, you can see the Shudras are at the down part. Then are the Vaishyas, then is the Kshatriyas, then is the Brahmins. You can see the pyramid. So always in a Vedic society there was a pyramid. Always Shudras were at the lower class and the Brahmins were always at the topmost level. So that was the thing, and always Brahmins were on the topmost or the high class society, Brahmins came, and Shudras were at the lower part. Now we'll see more in detail about it in the next slide. The 4-fold Varna class system. Now what happened in early Vedic period? In early Vedic period, the early Vedic society was divided into 4 Varnas, that is orders. Brahmins, who explained Vedic texts and performed religious ceremonies. Second, Kshatriyas, warriors, nobles and ruling class. Vaishyas, common people engaged in trade, agriculture and industry. Shudras, servants and laborers didn't own any property or land. Now society had mobility, that is food cooked by Shudras wasn't banned. There were no restrictions on intermarriages or change of occupation. Now in early Vedic period also we have Brahmins, then we have Kshatriyas, then we have Vaishyas, then we have Shudras. Now Shudras are the laborers, those who are working like a laborers. Vaishyas are the businessmen, they had their own business. Kshatriyas were the warriors. Kshatriyas were the warriors who took part in the wars. Vaishyas are the, we can say as a merchants or the businessmen. And Shudras you can say as a laborers or the workers. And Brahmins or the priests at the topmost level. So this was the pyramid in the early Vedic period. Shudras are the low class, then Vaishyas, then Kshatriyas and then the Brahmins. Now the main thing in the early Vedic period, what exactly it was, there was no class discrimination. Here exactly the Shudras, in case if Shudras they cook any food, that was not banned by any other persons. And here everyone can take part in the social activities. That was the main thing in the early Vedic period. Now what exactly happened in the later Vedic period, we will read that. Later society was divided into 4 varnas similar to the early Vedic age. Culture of sacrifice increased, so Brahmins enjoyed powers and privileges that of Kshatriyas. These privileges and powers weren't enjoyed by Vaishyas and Shudras. New varnas like chariot makers, tanners, carpenters, smiths, fishermen came into existence. Membership of varna became hereditary. Life of Shudras was miserable during later Vedic period. They were called as untouchables, weren't allowed to learn sacred texts, perform sacrifices and were forced to stay outside the village. So in later Vedic period, what exactly happened in the later Vedic period was that the same 4 different class of society, this 4 caste system were there in the later and early period both. But in early Vedic period, Shudras were treated very in early Vedic period, Shudras were treated in a normal way. There was no discrimination, everyone can take part in anything, no discrimination, nothing. But in later Vedic period, what exactly happened? Here, there was a discrimination between the caste system. Now here Shudras, as he was in the lower class, he was not allowed to take part in any other activity society. Then here Vaishyas, he was a merchant person. Here more additional business were introduced in the Vaishyas and the merchants. But again, they were not taken part in the other things. They were busy with their own businesses. Then came the Kshatriyas and Brahmins. Now here Kshatriyas and Brahmins, they came together. They were allowed to take part in any rituals, any sacrifices or any functions. So here the discrimination between the Brahmins and Kshatriyas, here again Vaishyas were different and Shudras were the very lower class which were not allowed to take part in any of the functions. That was the main thing. So here Shudras in later Vedic period, Shudras were not treated properly, were not treated very in a normal way. There was too much of discrimination done between the Shudras and the other caste systems. We'll see further now. Now here we have 4 ashramas, the stages of life. We say 4 ashramas. So we are going to see what exactly are the 4 ashrams of these stages of life. Now in early Vedic period, there were no ashrams, nothing, that time such type of concept was not there in the early Vedic period. But in later Vedic period, there was a concept of 4 ashrams, or we can say the 4 stages of life. So normally it is said that it was like 100 years. In 100 years are divided into the 4 stages, that is 1 to 25 years, 25 to 50, 50 to 75 and 75 to 100. So first stage was a Brahmacharya ashram, which was devoted to the education for development of body and mind. Second stage, Grihastha ashram, when he gets married and leads a family life. Third stage, Vanaprastha ashram, spent in meditation and prayers. And fourth stage, ashram, sannyasa ashram, renounces worldly pleasures and lives in forest as sannyasi. Now here in early Vedic period there was no ashrams, nothing, but in later Vedic period there were the 4 stages, first stage, second stage, third stage and fourth stage. First stage we can say it was from the age of from the first till 25 years. First to 25 years. This is 26 to 50. This is 51 to 75. This is 75 to 100. So this was a distribution done of the ages. The first stage we can say it is a learning age. So where the education is taken. Second, 26 to 50 is a grihastha, means of settlement by doing a marriage, having a family life. Third was 51 to 71 was for the meditation or for doing more study on the religious things or meditating for the God. And then 75 to 100 was the age, that particular stage of life, people used to renounce all. They used to sacrifice all the worldly pleasures and they used to sacrifice themselves to God and renounce all the worldly pleasures. So accordingly, the 4 stages of life was distributed in the later Vedic period, not in the early Vedic period. In early Vedic period, everything was equal, but in later Vedic period, there was 4 types, 4 parts of the stages of life. First one, second one, third one and fourth one. First one was called as again I will just tell you, the first one is called as a Brahmacharya ashram, where they used to study, they used to gain the knowledge. Second was the Grihastha ashram, where they used to settle their family life. Third one, the third stage was the Vanaprastha ashram, where they used to meditate. And fourth was the Sannyasi ashram. It means they used to renounce the worldly pleasures. This was about the ashrams, about the 4 stages of life. Now we are going to see about the Gurukul system. As we said, there was an education. In the earlier stage, there was an education, Brahmacharya ashram. So education, the learning system. So what was a learning system? That was called the Gurukul system. So we will see about the education system, about the Vedic period. Gurukul system of education. Early Vedic age. Gurukul system of education existed during the early Vedic period. It was at a basic level. Pupils lived in Gurukuls. Now in early Vedic period, the education system was there, the Gurukul system was there. But it was to a very early stage. It was not very much more deep study. It was a basic level study students, the Shishya, they used to come and they used to reside in the Gurukuls. Like we can say that they were going and studying there and they were staying there only in that ashrams. So it was called as a Gurukuls. That particular ashrams was called as a Gurukuls, where the students they used to come, they used to stay there, and there only they used to study and they have to learn different things. Now we are going to see the later Vedic period. Gurukul system of education had become well established during later Vedic period. Pupils stayed with gurus for mental, physical and spiritual development. They learned Vedic literature, mathematics, law, astronomy, astrology, logic and ethics. No fees were charged, but pupils voluntarily paid contribution known as Guru Dakshina when they completed their education. Children belonging to rich and poor had to stay together. To run the Gurukula, pupils had to perform various duties like gathering fuel, bags and bhiksha from neighboring villages, working in fields attached to Gurukula. So in later Vedic period, we have seen in early Vedic period, even there the education system was there, the Gurukul system was there, but it was to the basic level, not very much developed. But in the later Vedic period, the Gurukul system was there, where the students used to stay with the gurus only. They used to stay in the Gurukul ashrams there. They used to study from the gurus. They used to learn from gurus continuously. There were different subjects added to it, like the Vedic literature, the maths was added, the astronomy and astrology was also the subjects added into it, where they stayed there and they studied from the gurus. Now here fees were not taken from any student. So here rich child or a poor child has to stay together and study from the gurus. Now here as the fees was not accepted, now the fees was not there, but the Gurukul has to learn, run properly. For that they need some money for that, or they need some dakshinas for that. So for that things what they did, the students of the Gurukul, they used to perform some duties. Like there were some fields, they used to go on the fields and they used to work in that particular field. And secondly, they used to go to the nearby villages and they used to ask the dakshinas. They used to collect the dakshinas, come back to the Gurukuls and give it to the gurus. And accordingly, as a guru, they used to give it to the guru used to run the Gurukul. So that was the main thing over here. So slowly we have seen there was a development in the education system also from the early Vedic period to the later Vedic period. Early Vedic period was just a basic thing. The basic knowledge was given. But in later Vedic period, they got more knowledge, the literature, astronomy, astrology, mathematics, Vedic literature that they started learning in the later Vedic period. That was the main thing. And they gave the Guru Dakshinas also. That was the willing Guru Dakshina if the child wants to give to the Guru. That was the main thing in here. I will see further about the Vedic literature. So the main thing, as we are learning about the Vedic civilization, we have learned of different things about the Vedic period, about the early Vedic period, about the later Vedic period. We have seen about the political, religion and different things. Now the main thing we are going to learn about the Vedic literature. The Vedic literature can be classified into following categories. 4 Vedas. First one, Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda and Atharvaveda, and then Samhitas, it means hymns and prayers. So the main 4 Vedas are there in the Vedic period. That is the Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda and Atharvaveda. These are the main 4 Vedas. And additional to that, we have a Samhitas. Samhitas means the songs, the beautiful songs or the music sacrificed or performed as a prayer. These were the main things about the 4 Vedas. Now again there are different types. Now these are the 4 Vedas which I told you about, the Rig Veda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda and Yajurveda. Now there are more about it. We'll see Brahmanas, prose texts that explain the meaning of the hymns attached to each Samhita. So here Brahmanas are having the different texts of the prose, and here there is an explanation of the hymns about the songs are given over there. Then Aryankas, which is the forest books. Upanishads, that is the philosophical thoughts of sages. So here the 4 parts as we said, Rig Veda about the Vedas, then Brahmanas, then we have seen the different types. Now here we are going to learn more in detail about the Vedas. What are the 4 Vedas? Rig Veda. It is the oldest religious text in the world, hence called as the first testament of mankind. It was composed during early Vedic period. It contains hymns dedicated by sages to the gods. It contains the famous Gayatri mantra. Now here in the Veda, as I told you about the Rig Veda is called as the oldest one, the oldest religious text we can say it is the first testament of mankind. Now here it was the sages means sadhus, performing to the gods, performing the songs, performing their prayers to the god. That is called as a Rig Veda. So we'll see the second Veda now. Sama Veda. Sama means sweet song melody. These hymns are sung by the priest at the time of sacrifice. Now here Samaveda means a sweet song. The sweet song or a melodic song we can say which was performed or which was sung by the priest to the god while sacrificing the sacrifices. That was the Samaveda. The next Veda, Yajur Veda. It deals with rituals and hymns recited during the performing yajnas. So Yajurveda was the hymns recited. If something sacrifice is going on, that time some Vedas are sent, that is called as the Yajurveda. So while performing, that was recited, that hymns and songs were recited, they are called as a Yajurveda. Now the last Veda, 4th Veda, which we are going to learn about, the Atharva Veda. The Atharva Veda, it deals with the magic and charm. So this is about the 4 Vedas which we have learned. We have learned about the Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda and the Atharva Veda. Now we are going to see about the Brahmanas. These were written in prose after the Vedas. Then third one is Aryankas. These are known as forest books written for the guidance of hermits and students living in forests. It is a concluding part of the Brahmanas. Now if you see the Brahmanas is a prose, is a text after the Vedas. The Vedas where the songs and hymns are there while performing the yajna sacrifices, it was recited. After the Vedas came the Brahmanas, which was the prose text after the Vedas. Now, after the Brahmanas, there was an Aryankas. It is a forest book. It is said as a forest book. It is a book where the information of the forest is mentioned, which was helpful for the students who were residing there. It was helpful for them for their guidance. So here the Aryankas was the forest book for the guidance or the hermits or for the students living in the forest. In case of any student is living in the forest, he needs some guidance because it is a new place for him. So Aryankas was a book of the forest book which helped him, which guided him in that forest. Next is the Upanishads. They are philosophical thoughts of sages on soul, God and ultimate truth, karma, moksha and maya. Is the foundation on which the later Vedic literature rests. So here now 4th part is the Upanishads, where it is a philosophical thought of what? Soul, God, about the ultimate truth. So that was the things mentioned in the Upanishads, and it was a foundation of the later Vedic period, which is the foundation, the base of the later Vedic period literature. So we'll see further now about the importance of epics. What are the importance of epics in the Vedic period? It gives information about social, cultural and political life of the people of the epic age. It gives information about various kingdoms, their armies and weapons used by them. Epics are considered as finest literary works with high literary and philosophical values. The great heroes of these epics followed high moral principles, and it made a great impact on successive generations. Epics reveal the importance of family. Bhagavad Gita explains karma and immortality of soul. Now here it is about the importance of epics. Why the epics were very much important. Now epics gave us the information about the social, about the cultural, about the political life of the Vedic period. That the information we got it from the epics. Then secondly, we got the information about the various kingdoms, about the various kings. That also information about the weapons used by them, about the kingdoms, how it was ruled. That also information we get it from the epics. Then also it is considered as a literary and a philosophical values from the importance of epics. Then importance of various heroes, like in the heroes in the epics, they followed the high moral principles. So that also information we got it from the epics. So epics also revealed about the importance of the family. So even the Bhagavad Gita, you get it from the explains the karma and immortality of the soul. This was about the importance of the epics. Now here what exactly we have learned in the Vedic civilization. In the Vedic civilization, in all chapter, what we have learned, the development of the Aryans in the early Vedic period and slowly how they developed. Aryans, they came and they settled in the early Vedic period, but later on they developed themselves, and later on they were changed to the later Vedic period, where we can see the different types of development over here. The main thing over here, there was a discrimination of the caste also we have seen. Because of which what happened in the later Vedic period, because of the Brahmins, because of the priests, and because of the high class, the kings, the ruling over there, and the Shudras, the discrimination between the Shudras, because of that what happened, there was a decline of Vedic civilization, and slowly there was a rise of Jainism and Buddhism which came into existence. That was the main thing over here. Okay, so here we saw the development was very much good, but some little bit discrimination between the caste system, which was the main decline for the Vedic civilization. Now we will just go through whole the chapter in short. We will see what is mentioned over here. So we have learned in the Vedic civilization about the political changes in early Vedic period, later Vedic period. We have seen the religion. In religion also in early Vedic period, they were just worshipping the natural forces. But later on in later Vedic period, the kings came, the priests came, then the sacrifices came, and performing the yajnas came, and accordingly that was a discrimination. Again, there was a difference between the early religion and the later Vedic period. Woman, the main about the woman, the position of a woman in early Vedic period, woman was given equally importance, but in later Vedic period, the position of the woman was reduced. That was a difference we have seen about the women's. Also about the child marriages was not allowed in early Vedic period, but in later Vedic period, child marriages, widow remarriages was not allowed, and in the early Vedic period there was no difference between the widow or the remarriage. They can do the remarriages also. Polygamy, that is a multiple marriages, monogamy, a single marriage. That was the difference we have seen. The main thing what we have learned in the Vedic period is about the Vedic literature, about the 4 Vedas, then also about the epics we have learned, the importance of epics we have seen. We have seen so many things about the Vedic civilization. We have seen how the Aryans, they settled and they developed, and that was a Vedic civilization. And in short, we have seen about because of the decline, how there was a rise of Jainism and Buddhism. This was all about the Vedic civilization. For your home assignment, just go through the chapter, read the lesson carefully. Thank you very much.